Hey, this is All the Rage with Paige. I'm Paige. How are we doing? I'm struggling right now. I think this is like the fourth time I've tried to start this because I'm just yeah, I'm having like a lot of insecurities and self-doubt all of a sudden, and I haven't really experienced this in a while. And so it's making me question all of the growth that I've been doing. And this part of the process of like maturing and healing and growing, however you want to put it, is definitely a pattern that I do. And it, gives me more nuggets to go back into old, things. And I am not going to allow it to do that this time, but it's not making those feelings go away. So it's just trying to figure out how more smoothly maybe I could let these things go. Um, and yeah, things like PMSing doesn't help at all. And I happen to be in that week. So yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. But I'm feeling excited because next week is, I think it's called the Age of Aquarius. And I'm pretty sure that hasn't happened since 2000. No, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to stop right there because I don't know. I don't know. But look it up. All right. So I mentioned last week that I was going to try to wake up early and, yeah. So I've set the alarm to like an hour before my oldest usually wakes up, and it's been going okay. I think I've woken up for the alarm a majority of days, but have I worked out all of those days? I think I probably worked out 2 of the mornings this week. Yeah, that's how that is going so far. But the first thing on my list of my all the rages this week. So my husband got me a sound machine, like that's for babies. Because we always would joke about how once our kids were in their own rooms, like we wanted our own sound machine because after using them with kids, like we were actually kind of, well, not dependent on it, but we just realized like how much it actually like helps and works. So like no shame, we're going to keep doing it. And it's funny because I think there are like adult versions, but I think they are more expensive. So like why not use the baby one? So I'm using a baby sound machine. Yes. And I highly recommend it. So it has a really cool sound when it wakes you up. That's just like a little better than what comes with the iPhone. I don't know if people actually like use apps or other things, but the ones on the iPhone just they actually do things inside my body, and most of you I'm sure know what I mean by that. So it's just a little bit of a nicer way to sleep and rise. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there that, I appreciate those little things that we can have in today's age. Another thing that I love this week is the Dollar Tree. And do I feel embarrassed about it? Not because of like it having any sort of, stereotype of being trashy and any of those things. Like I don't care about that part. However, I'm sure the Dollar Tree is not a great corporation. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad that I am shopping there, a few times a year. Really, the only big store that I go to would be Target and Costco. Other than that, we really avoid any of those big things for the most part. So I don't know. I guess, oh, and Amazon. So yeah, we're not the best, we're not the worst. But I'm gonna be honest about it. So yeah, I enjoyed the Dollar Tree this week. And I got these cute little frog things and mushroom things. And I love them. So $6. I'm sorry. A loathe this week is the Gwyneth Paltrow interview. I don't think anyone actually watched the full interview, but a lot of the clips are going around on like TikTok. And it's pretty much that she's saying that she's starving herself. Like she has coffee for breakfast, bone broth for lunch, and I don't know, something green at night, I think. And yeah, everyone's just saying how it's kind of ridiculous that, she has such a big platform and these are the things that she's promoting. Like, obviously, that's, not very healthy for most people. The whole breakfast debate is very sensitive for all of us because I am someone who believes like I need food right away in the morning. Like within 30 minutes, I would like to have something. Um, I guess when I wake up early, that kind of changes. Like if I'm waking up super early, I will probably wait like an hour. Um, but yeah, if I don't have breakfast, like I am going to be moody. And a lot of people don't eat until like the afternoon. And I can't wrap my head around it. But I did just see a video that was explaining that. I mean, I never retain a lot of the facts if it's like a little video. So shows how much we're really learning, but generally, I guess. But it was talking about how it affects our hormones when we eat breakfast first thing in the morning. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm always open to that. Something I've been really curious about is when people say they're doing their own research, where are you researching? Like you're just going on Google, right? Or are you like what going on YouTube? I need to know, like, is my version of research the same as everybody else's? Or are they like really going deep into it with like certain reliable sources and like treating it like, they're doing an essay? So a love that I had this week is random texts, like romantic things to send to your partner or even friends, really. But I just love like the spontaneous part of it because like receiving those things feels so good and it feels good to do it and it just makes you feel more like happy, and I feel like that only translates, outside of that conversation. Um and people don't forget those little things, So another love that I had this week is discovering like small artists. I love that feeling when you discover a new to you artist and you go to their page and they only have like a few thousand followers and you're like, yep, one of the first. But then if they do get popular, it's almost like, okay, well, there goes that. Why does it have to suck once it gets big? Like, why can't people just stay true to themselves? I don't know. I've always kind of like wondered, is it because it takes like a certain personality to want to be in that sort of position? Or is it just because that's the only way to do it? I don't know. I just don't really understand that. Another love this week is cutting shirts. I have a sick obsession. I think sometimes it can be a loathe if it ends up being a dud, but I'm just obsessed with cutting shirts to change the way that they look. I do it to pants too. So yeah, I mean, it's a risk. Yeah, I'm just obsessed with it, especially with men's clothes because it is like a looser, more comfortable fitting. And men just like get higher quality fabrics, to be quite honest. Like it's usually thicker. So I usually go for men's and it's just fabulous. I love nothing more than getting into a big man's crew neck. I have seen a lot of videos of people using pieces of shirts to create like shorts or another whole shirt. And so I've been saving up all of the, you know, parts of the t-shirts that I've cut off, for if one day I decide to learn how to make clothing, which apparently I'm into just trying a bunch of different things now, which a part of me is like, I feel like that's kind of the point of, life, at least, at the time that we're living, is just trying a bunch of fun things and enjoying ourselves. So I don't know. I'm like kind of wanting to embrace it, but then also wanting to like be more consistent and see where I can go with something. So it's hard to kind of find that balance and know like how many things should I really be taking on. A loathe this week is the etiquette of like texting versus social media activity. Like I hate that, like I know that somebody I haven't responded to is going to see, my story knowing I haven't texted them back. You know what I mean? Like, And the thing is like, I think I get insecure about it because I think about it. If somebody hasn't responded to me, but then they're posting a bunch online, I'm like, oh, okay. But then I understand why they do it. So I don't know why I let it get to me anyway. I'm like, oh, I'm annoying. Okay. Another loathe this week is overlapping podcast interviews. So like I understand that it's like normal for like if a celebrity has done a movie or written a book, like whatever it is, they go like on tours to do interviews and all that stuff for promotion. But I hate how it's always like the same niche. These days, it's like the same celebrity just going to each podcast. And a lot of times they end up, saying a lot of the same things. And it's like, I don't want to hear, that, to be honest. Everything just feels so recycled at this point. That I don't know. I'm having a hard time with finding things that I actually want to watch anymore. And it's made me like addicted to TikTok again, which only shortens my attention span, So it's not helping this problem. And one of my big goals for the rest of the year, and I haven't really started on it yet, so I guess this is my reminder of that, is to limit my screen time. And my goal is to only have like 3 hours a day. I feel like that's pretty reasonable. All right. The urge to purge. Something annoying that I've noticed is shoes. Shoes take up a lot of space, and shoe racks just don't look great. Another thing I've been getting rid of a lot more is songs that I've added to my playlist years and years and years ago that are not hitting the same for me anymore. Being able to say goodbye, hoping that I will one day remember it for that one time I'm going to want to listen to it in the future. I do not want it to pop up, when I'm shuffling my music. And I'm sick of just skipping all the time. Kind of in the same realm as deleting old music that you're not into anymore. Also, unsubscribing to channels or pages that you just don't necessarily vibe with anymore, because it is really just kind of like wasting our time going through that stuff. But also, I do think it's like the same thing as like clutter visually around us. I do think it kind of like affects us a bit. Another thing I'm going to try to purge is not complaining too heavily. I used to be kind of notorious for vent texting, and anyone that does it, it's a hard habit to break, because for me, it's a thing of like, I am so overwhelmed with emotion. And the biggest reason it's so hard is because I didn't know how to emotionally regulate, but I would be so overwhelmed with emotion. And vent texting was a way for me to like release it to somebody else, which is so messed up, because when I realized this, I felt horrible. It didn't make it easier to stop, but I felt horrible realizing that I was, putting it onto somebody else. Like, I'm releasing it to them, and good luck. You can do what you please with that information of my emotions right now. It gave me a lot of guilt and a lot of shame, and it would send me into a whole other like pool of emotions instead of actually really helping me. And I know like talking it out in a productive way, like that can be so beneficial. So that's not exactly what I'm talking about. But when it's not a conversation that is like productive, like it's hard to know what somebody wants to hear. And yeah, I think I feel cold sometimes. Like I'm getting more in the habit of not trying to take on people's emotions and just simply saying, trying to validate their feelings in a way of like, oh yeah, that sucks, and not saying anything else. And that's really hard for me. Because I am normally somebody who does like really take on people's emotions, and I'm like constantly like thinking about their situation, and I'm like emotionally invested, and that's not necessarily healthy because I have my own life and my own family. It doesn't do good for me and it doesn't do good for the other person. So I think to try and help myself and the people that I care about, I think it's going to be best if I try to set a boundary when it comes to that. I kind of already mentioned this one before, but I think I want to purge like short videos. Like I think I want to stick to long form podcasts and shows, movies, reading, obviously, documentaries. So if I'm soaking up content, like I need to have a bigger picture than 3 minutes, right? Or even like 10 minutes. Like I kind of want to try to keep what I am soaking in to be longer form. And that's not like if I'm just needing to look up how to do something, I can look up a quick tutorial. Like I'm not trying to be like crazy about it. But just trying to say like I'm going to try to not watch TikTok and things like that as much because yeah, I want to try to like retain the things that I'm learning a lot better. And it's going to be so much easier for me to do that if I'm not watching like a million videos a day versus like one long one. So I didn't write this down, but something else I'm purging is like already made desserts. I'm trying to like fully commit to the lifestyle of like only making desserts that I bake myself. The only thing is like I always end up just making chocolate chip cookies because those are the ingredients that I just like always have, you know? I'm not really the type of person that like looks up recipes or even opens up cookbooks. I do have quite a few of them and I don't open them up and, pick out the recipes. I just get ingredients, change up the seasonings, and wada bing, bada boom. It tastes pretty good, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, I wish I would make a sauce. But, nothing wrong with chocolate chip cookies. I'm getting in like this habit of like once a week kind of having like a little itch for baking. I'm definitely like an amateur, but it is very rewarding just like making your own dessert and knowing exactly what you're eating. And I also feel like there's not usually as much of it as when you're buying, especially since I shop at Costco. Like there's not enough to just like have it all week long. Like it's usually just like a weekend treat. Or I'll make banana bread and that's what we can have on the weekdays. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. So I think we're gonna keep doing that, especially because things are getting real expensive around here. All right, well, I'm gonna eat now and hopefully read a book. All right. Love you guys. Bye.